Hey everybody, it's Vallen from Mischief of Mice, here with a getting started on Botania. So here we have a little bit of an update from where I left off on the last episode. I ended up putting a bunch of agricarnations, not too many, and a few of the ranuncarpus around, just so that they would better place the tree saplings and better, fertilize the tree saplings as well. Also, I took the bore lens off of this redstone mana spreader and just hooked it up to another one because I kept on destroying the chest that I had put here. I made it into a double chest because I actually wasn't creating the coal fast enough in one furnace at times. So I ended up adding a second furnace, and as you can see here, I just did a little revamp on it so that we have the same basic setup. I put it under some mana glass just so you guys could see it easier. And that's pretty much it. Nothing really major there, just a little bit of an upgrade to it. It's pretty constant now. I also changed this to 5 seconds with 5 pieces of sand because 10 just didn't seem to be often enough. It was leaving too many leaves up there because the wood was hanging around too often. So this has been pretty good. I've been letting it run while I was prepping for this episode, and you can see we've got quite a bit of mana in the mana pool. So, things we're going to be doing today, the end goal is to make the portal to Alfheim, but there's a long road to get there. For instance, we've got to make a Terrestrial ingot. The portal to Alfheim requires many ingredients to make. It's not a portal you can actually go through, but you can toss items into it and alternates will come back out. It requires this following here: 8 living wood blocks, 3 glimmering living wood blocks, 1 elven gateway core, 2 mana pools, and 2 natura pylons. So the elven gateway core requires terrestrial nuggets, which we therefore need to make that terrestrial ingot I was talking about. The natura pylons also require terrestrial nuggets, eyes of ender, and mana pylons, which we will also be making those too. Lastly, this is basically what it'll look like. Each of these are little pools that will need to be filled with a decent amount of mana for us to even be able to open this up. Plus, you can use the visualize option, which is pretty cool, to help place it on the ground. I'm actually going to do that now. And if you have trouble trying to figure out where this is going because it's so darn close to you, I recommend going into your settings and change your field of view all the way out so you can better see what it is you're doing. Then you just right click and it anchors an image there. Now I'm actually going to be changing my settings back. Let's get that back to normal. And we're going to make something else though in the meantime. It does say that it requires a bunch, you can't go through the portal and so on, but for now we're just going to leave that visualization there so that we know what our end goal is. To get there, we're going to need to make a terrestrial agglomeration plate. This thing here, which is absolutely insane, but luckily you only need to make one, and it's kind of a crafting requirement for making certain items. These are usually end game type items, and this is your first step to getting to that stuff. Not necessarily end game straight away, it's just like a crafting table for that. So you're going to need 3 lapis blocks, 1 block of mana steel ingots, which is just regular mana steel ingots filling a crafting grid, and then you're going to need water, earth, mana, air, and fire runes, and that will make you one of these little terrestrial agglomeration plates. On top of that, you will also need more ingredients. Here we have the terrestrial agglomeration plate, or TA plate here. If I choose visualize on that, I can actually place that here. There we go. And, oops, right click any block. Oh, I guess I have to choose a block to right click. So let me put a block down here. Oh, well, either way, you get the idea. I ended up not having a block there to put that with. So let's open that back up, unvisualize, revisualize, and there we go. So it now is ghosted here, and you see the other one has disappeared. You can only have one visualization up at a time. So, in this, though, you see it's got living rock, blocks of lapis, the agglomeration plate on top, but you don't know what's underneath. Well, if you continue to the next page under this under Terrestrial in the book, it actually says here, there's living rock under the plate. So now you know. And actually, this is really good reference. You will need a mana pearl, mana steel ingot, and a mana diamond, all tossed on top of this plate, which will be fed with mana to create a Terrestrial ingot, which will consume 1/2 of one of these mana pools mana, just to make one ingot. Pretty darn intense. So, let's get that out of the way, and let's get to making this. So I've made some of these before, the fire and the air. I believe I also may have made the water. No, I don't think I did. We did make the earth, so this time we're going to make the mana and the water runes, just so that you'll have these identified and know what's involved in it. And then we'll end up crafting ourselves the TA plate. Rune of Water. This requires mana powder, mana steel, ingot, bone meal, sugar cane, and fishing rod. Nothing really too complex. You get 2 of them off of the runic altar. So let me get those materials and I'll be right back. Alright, here we are. And we're going to toss 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1 of all of these, just to make ourselves a couple water runes. Next, we're going to make the Rune of Mana, which isn't too bad. It's just a whole bunch of mana steel around a mana pearl. I'll get those, and we'll be set to go in just a moment. Alright, 1 mana pearl, and a bunch of mana steel ingots. 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, and that will be our mana rune. So, as I already have the other runes, I will end up grabbing this, and we'll show you how to craft the TA plate. Alright, I've got all the supplies here. And let's make ourselves that terrestrial agglomeration plate. We're just going to put that in there because I can't remember which rune goes where. It's probably just a shapeless recipe, but I have not checked that out. Simple enough anyway. Just putting some of these in here. Those and 3 lapis blocks get us a terrestrial plate, or terrestrial agglomeration plate, excuse me. Now I just need a little bit of living rock. Alright, so we make a 5-point pattern. We toss down some lapis lazuli blocks, and then the plate. And you see at the bottom left there it says structure complete. So we now are able to make, oh of course they're in there, the terrestrial agglomeration plate. To use a terrestrial agglomeration plate, all you'll need to do is just walk up to it. You can either toss the items on it one at a time so that they land on there, but then you're at risk of it sliding off the edge or you accidentally picking them up if you're a little too close. So I recommend you just right click on the plate and your items will drop directly on the center, ready to go. Now you notice nothing's happening. That's because we actually need to feed this with mana. Now at this point, this is where we're going to make sparks. Sparks are very cheap and easy to make. Allow me to show you the recipe here. That's P-A-R-K. There we go, sparks. And you can make them with just about any color of the petals, some blaze powder, and a gold nugget. Let me grab those, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I made myself a spark. It wasn't that difficult of a recipe, as I showed you. Just blaze powder, any colored mystical petal, and a gold nugget. And you end up getting a spark. Now with this, you can put them on a mana pool, like this, and it hovers over it. And this therefore creates a way of transporting mana from one object to another. Now if I put a spark on the TA plate, you'll notice nothing happens. Well, that's because the TA plate doesn't actually need any mana at the moment. I removed the ingredients there. Let me put those back on my hotbar. Now, if I were to put those on there immediately, this is going to use that spark to pull from a nearby connected spark. To see what it's connected to, you just right-click on it with your Wand of the Forest, and you can see I'm right-clicking, right-click, that it's actually telling you these two are connected. If they're too far apart, you're not going to get that little rainbow beam there. So let me toss these on here, and we will end up getting ourselves a Terrestrial ingot. Now it's going to take a little bit of time because it's only pulling from one pool, but you'll notice that the mana pool mana is going down very rapidly. Very rapidly. Once it ends up getting all the way down, it's going to end up finishing and making us a Terrestrial ingot. Now, if you have multiple sparks on multiple pools feeding this, it's going to go really quick. There we go. 1 Terrestrial ingot. Alright, so I'm just going to leave this spark here. If you don't like these or their appearance is annoying you, you can actually use what's called Phantom ink. Let me bring that up in here. Back up a little bit. Phantom ink, and which is really, really easy stuff to make. Just a mana pearl, ink sac, 4 glass bottles, and a piece of glass will get you 4 phantom inks. These will end up turning Botania armors invisible, so that you can see your own character skin. Also, they should work on making sparks invisible, and it actually won't use up the phantom ink in the process, which I thought was pretty cool, because a lot of the time you'll end up having this large farm area and you've got these giant sparky things everywhere, and you don't necessarily want them to be visible. It's just a really nice option to have. So, now that we have our Terrestrial ingot, what do? Well, the first thing you do is you break it into little bits. You're going to need those 9 pieces. I'm going to get these out of my inventory for the moment. And we're next going to work on the portal to Alfheim. So, let's get back to that. And we'll reset that on the ground. I'm going to revisualize that here. And there we go. Alright, so that's what we're going for. First thing we need is 8 living wood blocks. That's really simple and easy to make. You just need your pure daisy. Actually, let me turn it to daytime again. So I've already got that because that's a mundane item we've already explored. Next we're going to need is 3 glimmering living wood, which is also very basic. The recipe for glimmering living wood is just a piece of living wood with glowstone dust. Very, very simple and basic. We are also going to need a couple mana pools. Those also are very easy to make, just as I've already gone over those in a previous episode. 1 Elven Gateway Core and 2 Natura Pylons. Well, before we end up getting onto those, let me put these down. And we've got, oops, this here, this here, this here. And I'm actually going to, oops, that was one, no, that was right. I wanted to put that up there. So, I'm just going to build this real quick. And don't worry, I'm going to take out the areas that aren't correct. Right now, I'm just making this so that it is proper. There we go. And then we've got the 3 glimmering living wood. There we go, that looks better. And 3. So we're missing the core and the Natura Pylons. So, how do we make those? Very basic. Let me go over that. Natura Pylons first will need to be made as mana pylons. Actually, let me take my Mana Seer monocle off so you don't get all these beams through the wall. Alright, so you need a couple of Mana Steel ingots, a bar of gold, Mana Diamond will make you a Mana Pylon. 2 of these on the ground next to a enchantment table. Let's see if I can actually get one of those in here. There we go. Like this. Will end up giving you automatic 30 levels worth of enchanting options. Let's grab this. Whoops, I ended up grabbing that away. Let me put these a little further out. I think they're a little too close. There we go. So you can see you've got level 30 enchanting with just 2 of these nearby an enchanting table. Pretty cool stuff. So what else are they good for? Well, you need these in order to make Natura Pylons. So those require, of course, 3 Terrestrial nuggets. 2 of those will require 6 in total, plus Mana Pylons and Eyes Vendor. So let's go make one of those real quick. I think I've got, oh, I just need the Eye of Vendor. Alright. Whoops. I accidentally ended up using it. Alright, well, let's put the Eye of Ender down. I'm going to need another Eye of Ender, I just realized that. But that's okay. And I'm going to need another one of those. But there we go, Natura Pylon. This is actually going to give me 2, because I'm in creative mode, as I need it. And that leaves me with 3 Terrestrial nuggets left. Well, what good is that going to do? So an Elven Gateway core is made with just 6 living wood, with your remaining 3 Terrestrial nuggets. Yes, it was planned out this way, so you'd only have to make 1 Terrestrial ingot. That gets you your core. So, let's actually make that. I believe I've got enough in my inventory of the living wood. Yes, I do. There we go. 3 on either side. 3 down the middle. Elven Gateway core. Put this in place, and there we go. Structure complete. Gives me that little notice. Now, I could right-click on this and try and turn it on, but it's not going to work because there's no mana in the mana pools. So, I'm going to use sparks. Now, if you right-click above the pool, you'll see that an actual spark, you can see a little bit of it there. There it goes. It popped up. It takes a second because of the Natura Pylons, but you can see it's sparking in the middle, and then after a moment it'll end up jumping to the top, so you can see that it's there. These will now pull from nearby mana pools, if they need any. One will pull from one will pull from the other, and so on. So what I'm going to try and do is actually put a couple on here, and that will allow, let's see if this actually works better. Yeah, there we go. That works pretty good. So it's now creating a network. Now, I believe it should have enough in there to pull from that distance. Let's find out. And there we go. And it shut down right away because we just don't have enough in these pools yet. So it tried pulling, it did pull it, it opened the gate for a moment and then shut down. Now, it didn't actually use very much, if any. Yeah, it actually just shut down because it didn't have any. So I'm going to end up getting a mana spreader just to move this stuff over here. Oh, or better yet, let me grab a mana tablet. A mana tablet is made with living rock around either a mana pearl or, a mana diamond. Let's get that facing right. There we go. And you get yourself an empty mana tablet. Now what this does is it's a portable method for storing up to a half a pool's worth of mana. So, with this, you see here, it actually has a picture of the mana tablet. That says if I put a mana tablet on there, it's going to take the mana from the tablet and put it in the pool. So if I shift right-click, it now says the opposite. It's going to take mana from the pool into the tablet. So I'm just going to toss this right on top. You'll see it actually sinks down into the pool a little bit and starts doing a whole bunch of sparks. Now I can actually click on the mana pool and you can see it's draining it quite quickly, which is great because that's exactly what we want to do. So I'm actually going to pick it up before it gets too far so that I can toss this in there. And the default setting for a mana pool when you first click it is to take items mana into the pool. So keep that in mind if ever you need to do that. Once that's done emptying its contents out, which that should be more than enough actually. I think it only takes like a little less than an eighth of a mana pool just to open the portal. But it will constantly keep on draining from the pools over time, so you're going to have to keep feeding mana into these pools if you want to do that. Otherwise, you can end up just shutting this, you can shut it off when you don't need it and turn it on when you do, but it will suck up a lot of mana that way. Oh good. I was worried that I ended up taking all the mana out, but we should have enough in there to be alright. So, let me drop this over here. That didn't quite work out. You can see that these pylons are a little tricky sometimes to toss the tablet into. Come on. There we go. But you can get it after a few tries. Here we are with a little bit of mana in each pool, which should be more than enough to get this open. Now, I do recommend, before you start doing this, you have the materials that you need in order to make more mana, or make the items ready. Now, in this case, you're not necessarily sure what those items are. Step one is going to be, you open it, and you toss in your Lexica Botanica book. So let's get this going. And there we go. I toss in my book, and it comes right back out. And the new version has a message from Elven Guard right in the index there, which you'll want to read through. It basically says we're interested in trading with you and so on, and there are many items that you will be able to toss into the portal and be able to get more advanced materials out of. Under the resources of Alfheim, we have living wood, which can be turned into dream wood. We have mana steel, which on a 2-for-1 basis can be turned into elementium. Mana pearls can be turned into pixie dust. Mana diamonds can be turned into dragonstone. Nether quartz can be turned into elven quartz. Mana glass into alf glass, and so on. So each of these has their own method of being used. For instance, the elementium can be used for making a different kind of armor or tools or weapons that have special abilities. You have your Dreamwood, which can be used to upgrade your mana spreaders considerably, as well as your pixie dust, which can be used for making much more interesting things. For instance, on a tree farm build, which is what I'm actually going to work on next. I'll end up coming back to you with a little bit different version of what I have going on. Before I do that, just to give you an idea, here's me tossing in a few of the mana steel ingots, a few of the mana pearls, some mana diamonds. You can see that I'm actually getting the new items tossed back out at me. Now if you miss the edge, it's just going to fall down in there, but you can easily just walk right up to it, toss it in. You can even toss in an entire stack at a time if you so desire, and it'll just keep on popping out the results. Pretty cool stuff. And now that we have access to these new and wonderful tools, we can actually upgrade our tree farm. We can upgrade our mana spreaders, our armor, our weapons, our tools, all sorts of stuff. But I think that's going to bring us to the end of this getting started, because this should get you well into the mod. And I will end up going over this in further detail in the future with more little bit-by-bit videos explaining the different items and tools, or at least in the most part, for what we have to come. So, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please drop a like. And until next time, see ya.